Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vāprāṇaścakṣuśrotramatho balamindriyāni ca sarvāni sarvam brahma upanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot Mastva nirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirate yaupanishatsu dharmaste mai santu te mai santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Ityetraksharamuddgitam upasita Om Ityhyudgayate Tasyopavyakyanam. In the passage 4th, on the page 240, Tasam Trividam Trividam Ekaikam Akarod Yathantu Khalu Homya Imas Tisro Devataha Trivit Trivit Ekaika Bhavati Tanme Vijanihiti. This is Devata, Sat or Brahma, visualized, saw, deliberated. Tasam Trivritam, of the three elements, the fire, water and earth, each one of them, it made threefold in threefold. Meaning that the element fire was divided into two, and the second now was further divided into two. Thus each element was thus divided, and the 1/4 of each element was joined or united with the half of the other two elements, and thus we have each of the three elements having all the three elements in them. This what is called fire has half the fire, 1/4 the water, 1/4 the earth. The gross water has 1/2 the water, 1/4 the fire, 1/4 the earth. The gross earth has 1/2 the earth, 1/4 the fire, 1/4 the water. Tasam Trividam Trividam Ekekam Akarod. That's how this deity created or converted each of the three elements into threefold. Then the teacher says to the disciple, Yathat khalu soumya imaha tisro devata trivit ekaika bhavati. Hey Soumya, O good looking one, how each of the devatas becomes threefold and threefold, tanme vijanihiti. May you know that from me. Vispashtam avadharaya udaharanatah. The teacher says, I'll give you udaharanam, I'll give you illustration by which you can see that each element consists of the three elements. The udaharanam, the illustrations were given. Yad adityasya rohita rupam tejasastad rupam. That which is the red color in the sun is the color of the element fire. Which element fire? The pure element fire. Atrivit karanam. So atrivit kritam. That which is not yet converted into threefold ways, from the tanmatra of the pure fire, that color you find in the sun. Yashuklam rupam tad apam. The white color that you find in the sun is from the element water. Yat krishnam tad annasya. And the black color that you find in the sun belongs to the element earth. So thus when you see the fire as nothing but the three colors, the Upanishad says, apagad adityat adityat. Oh, okay, we have before that there is the yad agnehe rohitam rupam. Yes. Yad agnehe rohitam rupam tejasas tad rupam. That is the red color in the fire, belongs to the element, pure element fire. Yes, shuklam tadapam. The white color in the fire belongs to the element water. Yet krishnam tad annasya. The black color in the element, in the fire belongs to the element earth. Apagat agnehe agnitvam. When you see agni or fire as nothing but the three colors, then the fireness of the fire is gone away. Vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam. Because what is vikara, modification, has only its basis in the speech. Trini rupani ityeva satyam. Only the three colors are real. So Bhashyakara said, Prag rupatre viveka vijnanat ya agni buddhi asite. The teacher says to the disciple that Prag rupatre viveka vijnanat. Before you had the discriminative knowledge about the three colors, Agni buddhi asite, you looked upon this object as fire. So before the discrimination that this fire is nothing but the three colors, you looked upon the object as fire. Now when you see that the fire is nothing but the three elements, and all that remains is three elements and not the fire. Just as formerly you thought that this was a pot. Now when you look upon that object as clay, then the potness of the pot goes away, and what remains in your perception is clay. Similarly also, what we call fire, the gross fire, is made up of these three colors or the three elements. And thus when you look upon, see these three elements, three colors, then fire no more remains in your mind. Sa agni buddhi apagata agni shabdasya ityartha. That notion that this is fire and the word fire, both of them go away. Vacharambranam vikaranamdhyam buddhi shabdamatrameva hi agnihi. What we call Agni is nothing more than the word fire and the notion that the word creates in your mind. Word has the power of creating the corresponding thought, corresponding cognition, corresponding notion. So as long as you think that this object is fire, so long the mind uses the word fire and the notion associated with that word fire. When you see that as three colors, no more there is the concept of fire, nor is there the word fire. Vasaranambranam vikaranamdhyam namamatram. Because what we call fire is vikara, is a modification, and therefore it is no more than the name of the word fire. Kim tari tatra satyam. Then what is the truth there? Trini rupani ityeva satyam. Only the three colors are real. Na anumatramapi rupatra vyatirekena satyamasti iti avadharanartha. Trini rupani iti eva satyam. Meaning that other than the three colors, there is nothing which is real at all. Not an iota of reality is there other than three colors. Similarly about the sun, similarly about the moon, similarly about the lightning. These four illustrations were given. Page 245, Bhashyakara says, Athava, Rupavata, the question was asked earlier on the page 242. Nanu yathanu khalu somya imas tisra devata trivit eka eka bhavati tanme vijanihiti uktva. The teacher proposed that I will show you how each element becomes threefold. How element fire becomes threefold, element water becomes threefold, element earth becomes threefold. I will demonstrate to you. Iduktva tejasa eva chaturvyapi udaharani agnyadibi trivatkaranam darshitam. But what the teacher has done is shown the threefold combination of only the element fire with illustrations of fire, sun, moon, lightning, all of them are fire. Nabannayoho udaharanam darshitam. But the teacher has not shown how the element water also is threefold, element earth also is threefold. That is not shown. Naisha dosha ab anna vishyanepi udaharanani एवमेव च द्रष्टव्यानीति मन्यते श्रुति. Shruti only gives illustration with reference to one element, with an understanding that the student will work out himself or herself the threefold combination of the other two elements. Yadvapi kupadehe rohitam rupam tejasa tadrupam. In Vapi, Kupa, whatever is the color fire, red belongs to color fire, the element fire, just Shuklam, Tadapam, etc., etc. So you can work it out that way. Tejasa udaharanam upalakshanartham. Mean illustration given with reference to the color of the element fire is upalakshanartham, is a representative example which implies all the rest of the three elements. Rupavatvat spashtarthatta upattescha. Because color is what we can see clearly, And therefore, it is easy to see everything as a combination of three colors. It is difficult to see everything as a combination of three tastes and three smells. यदि सर्वं जगत् त्रिवृत्कृतमिति अज्ञादिवत् त्रीणि रूपाणि इत्येव सत्यम्. If thus the element fire, element water, element earth, that's all that is real. This can be said about every aspect of the whole universe. This sarvam jagat trivritkritam. Thus, if the entire universe is a combination of the threefold combination of elements, is a product of the threefold combination of elements. Three rupani ityeva satyam, only three colors are real. Evam agne agnitvam agnitvavat apagat jagatah jagatvam. Just as when you see this gross fire as nothing but three colors and three elements, the fireness of fire goes away. What remains are three colors or three elements. Similarly, when you look upon this jagat or the universe as three colors, then goes away the universeness of the universe, and what remains are three colors or three elements. Tatha annasyapi apsungatvat apaha ityeva satyam vacharamram matram annam. So now what remains are the three colors or three elements: earth, fire, water and earth. So what is earth? Earth has its origin in water. So now if you look at earth closely, you find that it is nothing but the modification of water. When you see that, then the earthness of earth goes away. What remains is water, which is the cause. Water has its cause in element fire. Thus when you look at water closely, you discover that it is modification of fire. So what remains is fire. Fire in turn is the modification of Sat or existence, and therefore what remains is nothing but existence. Iti esha artha vivakshitah. The intention behind the illustration of the Trivritkaranam or the threefold combination is ultimately to convey that what is Sat or existence. Rupavatam Trayanam Tejobannanam Trivritkarana Pradarsanena. The three elements, fire, water and earth, each of which possesses colors, by showing the threefold combination of these three elements. Saram tadantarbhutam, then everything also is included in that. Sadvikaratvat rupatrayat vijñātam manyate shruti. Thus everything can be seen as a modification of Sat, and therefore by knowing Sat, everything is as well known. Athava rupavataṁ trivritkaranam pradarsanarthameva manyate shruti. The Shruti thinks that even the illustration of the three elements possessing color is only stands for what? Panchikaranam. Yathatu trivritkrute trini rupani ityavasam tasa panchikaranebhi samano nyayah. This is reference to all the objects in the universe. What is real are three colors or three elements. That same thing can be extended to Panchikaranam, the fivefold combination. And it can be seen how the universe is numbered five colors or the five elements. Ityatah sarvasya sadvikaratvat. Then again, in case of the five elements also, the same rule applies that the element earth is nothing but water, which in turn nothing but fire, in turn nothing but air, in turn nothing but space, in turn nothing but Sat. Sadvikaratvat. Everything is seen as a vikara, the modification of Sat or existence or Brahma. Sata vijnanena sarvam vijnatam syat. Therefore, by knowing Sat, everything is as well known. Ekameva advityam satyamiti siddhameva bhavati. Therefore, Sat is ekameva advityam, one without a second. As we said, the primary vision to be communicated or conveyed here is ekameva advityam. That Sat or existence is one without a second. It is truth or reality. It is for that purpose, as Shruti said, that by knowing Sat, everything is as well known. By knowing Sat, everything is as well known. Yen ashrutam shrutam bhavati, amatam matam, avijñātam vijñātamiti. Because that can happen only if Sat is one without a second. How can you know everything by knowing one? When all there is one, the so-called everything is nothing but modification of one, or the everything is not there, what is there is one. So the primary vision to be conveyed is તમે અહીંયા આવીને આગળ બેસો, શેતરંજી પર બેસો. So, by knowing one, everything becomes known, means that all there is one. And there is one is non-dual, because all there is one. And that's what you are mainly. Even if all that there is Sat is okay, what is most important is that Sat is you. You are the one without a second. You are one non-dual. You are one limitless. Free from every problem. So this is basically, this teaching is meant to solve the human problem of sadness, that's all. And the sadness is the result of looking upon oneself as a limited or inadequate being. And the sense of inadequacy, being a notion, goes away by seeing oneself as adequate. The adequacy is possible provided I am free from every limitation. That is possible only if I am limitless. That is possible only if I am non-dual. That's possible when all there is I. So this is primarily, the loop must be complete with the I. That everything is Sat and Tat Satyam Satma Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, that thou art. On the page 246, in the passage 7, the last two lines, the Shruti said, Yathanukula somya imastisra devataha purusham prapya trivut eka eka bhavati tanme vijanihi iti. So Bhashyakara said, evam tavad bhashyam vastu Agnyadivat Vijñātam. So the illustration of the Trivat Karanam, the threefold combination, was given with reference to external object or external world. Tatha idanim now, Yathanukula somya imaha tisro devata purusham prapya. Same three devatas, same three elements, when they come in contact with this person, Trivut Trivut Ekaika Bhavati, how each element, when it comes to this body, also gets divided in the threefold way. Tanme vijanihiti, may you know that from me. So having shown the Trivut Karanam, the threefold combination with reference to the objects of the universe and therefore the universe, now the teacher proceeds to show the threefold combination with reference to the individual upadhi, this body, mind, sense complex. So Vashyakara says in the next passage, so Chaturtha Khanda is over, beginning the fifth Khanda. Annamashitam Tredha Vidhiyate Tasya Yaha Sthavishto Dhatuhu Tatpurisham Bhavati Yo Madhyamaha Tanvamsam Yonishtaha Tanmanaha. Now each element, Annam, Apaha and Agni, how when they come in contact with the person, they become divided in threefold ways. Annam ashitam, when the food is eaten. Tredha vidhiyate, it gets divided into three parts. Tasya, what are three parts? The gross, the medium, the subtle. Tasya sthavishto dhatuhu, that which is the grossest ingredient of this food that you eat. Tat purisham bhavati, that gets converted into feces or the excretion is excreted. Yo madhyamaha, the middle part of the food, then mamsam becomes the flesh. Yo anishtaha, the subtlest part, then manaha, that becomes the mind. So annam or element earth becomes divided threefold. So look at the Tika, Srimad Abhinava Narayananandendra Saraswati, in the line 34 on that page 246. Yathashrute annadinam purushadi rupena kathanam param syad. Yathashrute, as the Shruti mentions annam, ashitam. Annadinam purushadrupena kathanam param syat. To say that the anna, the food, the water, the fire becomes converted as this person. Param syat is something different. Tacha prastutam syaditi, which is not in keeping with the current topic proposition. Asmin pinde yen mamsam yaccha manaha tadannam yallohitam yasya pranaha tapaha yadasti majjavak cha tat tejaha iti. So what is meant here, or what the meaning is, asmin pinde yen mamsam yaccha manaha. So in this body-mind complex, the flesh and the mind, they are nothing but annam or food. Yal lohitam yasya prana taha apaha. The blood as well as prana, the vital air, is the element water. Idasthi majjavak cha tat tejahidi. And that which is the bone and the marrow and the speech, organ of speech, that is the element fire. Pindasya triatmakatvat travyataring abhava trayameva satyam. Because this pinda is thus a combination of product of the threefold combination. Therefore, travyatarigan abhava. This body also, or this individual upadhi also, is no different from these three elements. Trayameva satyam, only three are real. Anena prakarena mool karanamiva satyamidi. In this manner, annam is nothing but water, nothing but fire, nothing but sat. So anena prakarena mool karanamiva satyam. So the first step is to show how this body, mind complex, is made up of the three elements, and there were three elements alone are real. And as before, the same are thinking and we stretch further to show how the element earth is nothing but the element water, which is the element fire, which is nothing but sat, and therefore anena prakarana mool karanam eva satyam. Trayameva satyam, these three are satyam, that is illustration. What is meant is mool karanam eva satyam. The primordial material cause alone is real. Idi tad vijnanena sarva vijnanam tasya advitiyatvam cha jnatamamidi. And therefore, by knowing Sat, everything is as well known that Sat is one without a second. Athava manovak prananam sarve anantayati shrutyantare anantatva ukte. Elsewhere it is said, manovak prana sarve anantaha. The mind, the organ of speech, the prana, these are anantaha, they are infinite. It is said for the purpose of upasana. Shrutyantare anantatva. Because other Shruti calls them ananta or infinite. Vadi vishya nityatva angikarat. And some vadis, vaisheshikas, look upon mind as nityam. Sat karyatva abhava. Nitya means what? Which is always eternal, which is always there, uncreated. So Sat or Brahman also is nityam. Mind also is nityam. So many things are nityam. They were Sat karyatva abhavat. They are not product. If they are nityam, then they are not the products of Sat or Brahman. Sarva vijnana na siddhyati. Then they all stand independent of Sat. So by knowing Sat, they are not known. So sarva vijnanam na siddhyati. Everything is not known by knowing Sat. If Sat is not the moola karanam. Iti ashankya tesham bhautikattvena sadvikaratvam vaktum annam ashram ityadi khandatrayam. So what is the purport of this passage? Beginning annam ashram treda vidiyate. To say that this pinda or individual body mind complex is nothing but these three. So by knowing three, you have known the pinda. And three are nothing but Sat. By knowing Sat, you have known everything. Pinda individual also. That's one reason why this passage is told. Or somehow some statement of Shruti convey the idea that this annam, so mano vak prananam, the manah, the vak, the prana are infinite, and therefore somebody may take them to be nitya or eternal. And the Vaisheshikas also say that the mind is eternal. If they are nitya, then there is no advitiyatvam. Then knowing Sat, they are not known. In which case, this proposition that everything is known by knowing Sat, it doesn't come up proved right. Ashankya tesham bhautikattvena sadvikaratvam bhaktum. Therefore, these passages are meant to say that the mana, vak, prana, all of these are the modification of Sat, and therefore the knowing Sat, they are also known. Thus, the advitiyatvam, non-duality is established. Now, Bhashyakara says, Annamashitam bhuktam tredha vidhiyate jatharena agnina pachyamanam tridha vibhajyate. Annam ashitam. Ashita means bhuktam, eaten, consumed. Tridha vidhiyate. Vidhiyate becomes divided threefold. In three ways it gets divided. Chatharena agnina pachyamanam. When the food that is eaten is digested by the stomach fire, then tridha vibhajyate. That food gets divided in the threefold way. Says Anandagiri tadeva prashnapurukam vishadayati. That it gets divided is clarified as preceded by question. Kathamiti. Bhashyakara says, Katham. Says Anandagiri, Katham tridha vivajyamanatvam katham vatasya viniyoga iti prashnapurukam vivaranoti. What is katham? Katham means how. Katham tridha vivajyamanatvam. In what manner? There is this threefold division of every element that comes in contact with the person. Katham va tasya viniyoga, or how is this the food? How does it get used in the body? Viniyoga. So what's the application, what's the use in this body? So how is that in fact, when the food comes in contact with us, in what way is it divided, it is used up? Iti Prashnapurukam Vivaranoti. Bhashyakara explained as preceded by question Katham Ityadina. The Bhashyakara says, explaining the passage, Tasya Annasya Tridha Vidhiyamanasya Yastavishtaha Sthulatamo dhatuhu Sthulatamam vastu Vibhaktasya Sthulom shaha Tatpurisham bhavati. Tasya annasya tridha vidhiyamanasya. That food which is eaten. Tridha vidhiyamanasya, which is now divided into three parts. Yah sthavishtaha, that which is the grossest part, grossest aspect. What is it? Sthulatamo dhatuhu, the grossest ingredient, dhatuhu. or sthulatamam vastu, or the grossest matter. Vivaktasya sthulaha amshaha, or the gross aspect of the food divided into threefold way. She says Narayana in the line 32, Dhatu Shabdarthamaha Vastu iti Sthulatamo Dhatuhu. The grossest ingredient, which means Sthulatamam Vastu, the grossest matter. Tadeva Spashtayati, again that is further clarified. Vivaktasya sthula amshaha. So what the Tikakara says is, Sthulatamo dhatuhu is explained as sthulatamam vastu. It is further explained as Vivaktasya sthulaha amshaha. The gross aspect of the food that is thus consumed and digested. Tat purisham bhavati, that becomes excreta, so that is rejected. The Bhashyakara continues, Yo madhyama amshaha dhatuhu annasya tata rasadikramena Parinamya Mamsam Bhavati Anutamo Dhatuhu Anishtaha. Okay, so Mamsam Bhavati, that much there. Yo Madhyamo Amsha Dhatuhu Annasya Tad Rasadik Kramena. So that is the middle portion of this digested food. It becomes mamsambhavati, becomes flesh. Rasadik kramena, not right away. Rasadik kramena. Means the food gets converted into different states. Rasa is first it becomes rasa, the fluid. And then says Anandagiri, Rasaditi adi shabdena rudhiradi grhyate. For the food becomes rasa, the essence or the fluid, then becomes rudhira, becomes blood, and then becomes flesh. I have a footnote here, rudhiraditi adi shabdena rudhir mamsayo Antarala dasha grhyate anyatha. See on the page 192 if you see in this book. And see line 21, 22. Rasaditi adi shabdena Shonita, Mamsa, Medaha, Asthi, Majja, Retamsi Uchyante. They are called Sapta Dhatavaha. The 7 constituents or 7 ingredients in the body. First is Rasa, Shonita, Mamsa, Medaha, Asthi, Majja, Retamsi. So blood, flesh, Medaha is the fat, Asthi, bone, Majja, the marrow, Retamsi, the semen. That's how the 7 dhatus are. Now what happens is, Bhashyakara says rasadi kramena. Beginning with rasa, then shonita, then mamsa. That food becomes mamsa, mamsam bhavati. So rasaditi adi shabdena rudhiradi grhyate. So Anandagiri imagines that with rasa and Shonita Rudhira and Mamsa. So between Rasa and Mamsa flesh there is only one stage which is called Rudhira or Shonita. But Rasadi iti adi shabde Rudhira adi gruhyate. As a Rudhira and something else is also there. So the Tika says iti adi shabdena Rudhira Mamsayo Antaraladasa gruhyate. So stage in between the blood and the flesh is to be imagined, which is not mentioned traditionally, but something which we have to imagine from based on what Anandagiri says. Okay. Continuing the Bhashya further. Yaha anishthaha anutamo dhatuhu sa urdhvam hrudayam prapya sukshmasu hitakyasu nadishu anupravishya vāgādikarana sangātasya sthitim utpādayan mano bhavati manorūpena viparinaman manasaha upachayam karoti. Now here, anishtha dhatu. The grossest aspect is rejected. The middle aspect becomes flesh. The grossest aspect, anutamo dhatu, sa urdhvam hrudayam prapya. So now, in the stomach, the food is digested, has converted into rasa or the fluid, and that rises further, hrudayam prapya, then coming to this heart region, sukshmasu, hitakyasu, nadishu, anupravishya, that rasa of the fluid enters very fine nerves around the heart called hita nerves. Vāgādi kanasangatasya sthitin upadayan. Also sthitim utpadayan, meaning continuing, so ensuring the continuance of the sanghata, this body-mind complex, beginning from the speech. Mano bhavati, then the rasa becomes, through rudhira, becomes the mind. Says the Tika, tasya rasasya nani rakshana sambandamaha urdhvamitna annopachitatvam naranam sarvesham tulyam tat anve vyatirekatvat itiyaha. Sarvesham naranam annopachitatvam tulyam. That all the human beings, all the beings get nourished by food is something common to all the beings. Tadanve vyatirekatvat. Because when the food is there, nourishment is there, food is not there, nourishment is not there. So rasadi kramena. Tasya rasasya nadi rakshana sambandamaha. How the rasa also nourishes this fine nerves, etc. How is it connected to the nadi, the hita nadi, and then it nourishes the sanghata. Urdhva ityadina. Says the Tika further, tatasya manovak prananam pradhanyena annadimayatvam. So manaha, mind, is a product of annam, food. Pranaha, the product of water. And speech, product of fire. So pradhanyena annadimayatvam. So these three are primarily shown as the modifications of the three elements. इतरेषां तु नान्तरीयकतया अन्नादिमयत्वम् इति भावः. Others are indirectly the products of annam, etc. So these three, the mind is shown as the immediate product of food. The prana is shown as the immediate product of water. The speech is shown as the immediate product of element fire. By fire, Bhashyaka will say, the oily substances that we eat, such as oil, clarified butter, etc., that is categorized as fire. Again, Tika says, Annaraso manobhavati ayuktam. You are saying that the essence of food becomes mind, doesn't seem to be right. Why? Manasa puramayo manasa vidyamanata. Because even if you ate the food, the mind is already there. How do you say that the mind is the product of food? Because mind is already there even before you ate the food. So Vashyaka said, Mano rupena viparinamat manasa upachayam karoti. The rasa, the subtlest aspect of food, becomes transformed as the mind and nourishes the mind. That's how we say it becomes mind. It nourishes the mind. If you go to Anandagiri, tasya karaphalasya nadi churo bhokta iti hitakhya nadya tasudi avata. So Vashyaka said, Sukshmasu hitakyasu nadishu anupravishya. This rasa enters the fine nerves called hita. Tasya hitasya karaphalasya nadicharo bhokta. This jiva is called nadichara because jiva actually travels through those fine nerves. So it's called nadichara. And bhokta, he enjoys the karmaphala in those hitakya, in those nadis or nerves. Hitakyataha tasu, that's called hitakhya nadi, they're called hita nadiya. Again, Anagiri is the same question. Katham annopayogat prageva manasa siddhatvat tan manobhavati iti uchyate. Mind is already there before the food. How do you say that? The mind is the product of food. Same thing, manorupena viparinamat manasa upachayam karoti. Anagiri says, manasa devatva visheshanat nityatva siddhi iti ashankya. No. Manasa annopachitutva vachanat vaisheshika bhashavi dushita veditavya iti. When the Upanishad says that the one mind, the product of food, then it refutes the view of the Vaisheshikas that the mind is nityam or eternal. That is side jab, That also Bhashyakara here takes the opportunity. Same thing the Abhinav Narayana is saying, Nanu Vaisheshikaihi Manasa Nityatva Angikarat Katham Manorupena Parinamiti Ashanki. Same. Vaisheshika say that mind is nitya or eternal. Katham Manorupena Parinamaha. Now, how do you say that? The food becomes transformed as mind, iti ashanka. Shruti virodat tanmatam ayuktam. The opinion of Vaisheshika is not right because it contradicts what the Shruti says. So Bhashyakara is tataschaiti. Tatascha अन्नोपचितत्वात् मनसः भौतिकत्वम् एव न वैशेषिकतन्त्रोक्तलक्षणम् नित्यं निरवयवं च इति गृह्यते. This is niravayam, but niravayavam it should be, Tatasya annopachitatvat manasah. Therefore, the mind being nourished by the food. Therefore, bhautikatvam eva. So, mind is a product of food. Therefore, if food is bhautikam, elemental, mind also is bhautikam, elemental. No vaisheshika tantrokta lakshanam nityam niravayavam cheti gruhyate. Vaisheshikas say that the mind is nityam, eternal, niravayavam, partless. That cannot be the mind is a product. And yes, Shruti says mind is definitely a product of food. So Anandagiri said, Manasaha annopachitattva vachanaat vaishyaja paribhasa dushita vidavya. Okay. But the Manasaha devatva visheshanat nityatva siddhi. Elsewhere, the mind is called divine. So again, say the tika below. Manosya devam chakshu iti shrutyaiva manasa nityatvam uktam. Shruti says, Manaha asya devam chakshuhu. Of this person, the mind is a divine eye. So mind is called divine. Manasa nityatvam. And what is divine must necessarily be eternal. Therefore, nityatvam uktam. Therefore, so shrutyaiva manasa nityatvam uktam. Nityatvam vira divitva anupattehe. A thing cannot be divine unless it is eternal. So even though the Shruti doesn't say mind is nityam, it says divyam or daivam. By that is implied that the mind is nityam or eternal. So first, to refute the Vaisheshikas. Second, to understand the Shruti. Shruti is not refuted, but Shruti is properly explained. What is meant by daivam chakshuhu? Yadapi, Bhashyakara says, Yadapi manosya daivam chakshuhu iti vakshati tadapi na nityatva apekshaya kim tarhi sukshma vyavahita विप्रकृष्ट आदि सर्वेन्द्रिय विषय व्यापकत्व अपेक्षया. यदि मनोस्य दैवम चक्षुः, even though the Shruti will say later on in the 8th chapter that mind is his divine eye, tadapi nityatva apekshaya. So mind is called the divine eye, not with a view to say that the mind is eternal. Because devatas are eternal. Call it daivam, divya, divi bhavam. So therefore daivam is the gods, pertaining to gods, and they are eternal. So what is eternal? What is devam or divine also becomes eternal. So mind is divine, therefore it also becomes eternal. Says no. Tadapi na nityatva apekshaya. That devatvam is being said not to imply that mind is eternal. Kim tari, then what does it say? सूक्ष्म सूक्ष्म व्यवहित विप्रकृष्टादि सवेन्द्रिय विषय व्यापारकत्व अपेक्षया. No, because of mind, so vyapakatva, the mind pervades all the objects. See, every sense organ only covers its corresponding object, but the mind is behind all sense organs, therefore it pervades all the sense organs, all the sense organs. From that standpoint, mind is called divya, not that it is eternal. So, kena viprayatari visheshana dashina kim tarhi sukshmatva. Sukshma means subtle. The idea is that subtle, vyavahita means hidden or concealed, viprakrishta means far away. So, sarvendriya vishaya. The sense organs can see sometimes what is subtle, what is hidden, even though, so, or even what is hidden, what is subtle, what is far away, and what is perceived by all sense organs, all of this the mind perceives, Depends on the yogi's mind perceives what is behind his wall, etc. So what is hidden, what is subtle, what is far away, and whatever all the sense organs see, since mind is involved in perception of all of this, therefore, compared to the other sense organs, it is called divine. That's all. Not called divine with a view to call it eternal. Said the Tika, Yadyapi, Divya Shabda, na Nitya Shabda Paryaya. Well, Divya does not mean it is Nitya, because they are not synonyms. Tathapi, Divyatvam, Anyat, na Vaktum Shakyam. But then, divinity cannot exist in anything other than that is eternal. In that sense, the Shankito Havipraya, the one who raised a doubt, had this thing in mind. That because Shruti says that it is Divyam, therefore it must be Nityam, because what is not Nityam cannot be Divyam. Then Tika continues, Nanu Swapne Itarendriya Nashebi Manasa Vidyamanatvat Nityatvam. So different viewpoints describing the mind as Nitya exist. So many people think that mind is eternal. Vedanta says mind also is matter. And matter is modification. Therefore it is not eternal, it is also perishable. Because the mind is eternal, Brahman also is eternal, then mind stands apart from Brahman. Then the non-duality of Brahman cannot be established. So Brahman can be non-dual if everything else is perishable, is mithya. So it is important to prove the mithyatvam of the mind also. So nanu swapne itarendriya nashepi. In the dream, all the rest of the indriyas are gone. They are all merged. Manasa vidyamanatvat, but the mind is very much existent in the dream. Nityatvam, therefore, why not? That is the reason that the mind is eternal. If mind also was anitya, then along with sense organs, that also would have merged. But sense organs merge. Mind does not merge in dream. So mind is different. So why not mind is eternal? Yadapi. So Vashyakara says, already we saw that. Okay. No, yaccha, right. So yaccha, next one. Same thing Anandagiri said. Tari chakshurādibhya vailakshanyāt asti tadapekshaya nityatvam. because mind is different from the sense organ, therefore it is eternal yaccheti. So Vashyakara says, yaccha anyendriya vishayapekshaya nityatvam tadapi apekshikam eva iti vakshyamaha. Yaccha anya indriya vishayapeksha nityatvam. So the mind is said nitya or eternal in comparison to the other sense organs. Tat api apekshikam. Even if the mind is called eternal, in relation to sense organs, that eternality also is not absolute eternality, only relative eternality, sapekshikam. Sapekshikam nityatvam iti vakshyamah. This is what we will explain to you. Where will you tell us? Says the Tika in the line 38, Sushupte manasa vinasham swam apito bhavati itra vakshyamah. Shruti will say, Sushupte manasa vinasham swam apito bhavati. At that time, this person comes to himself and nothing remains there, and that's how the mind also is not there. Atmavad manasa nityatvam kim nasyad. If Atma is nitya, why not mind also is nitya? Or the other Tika says, advitiyatva shruti baladapi na manasa nityatvam. On the strength of the arthapatti, the presumption, on the strength of the statement of non-duality also, mind cannot be eternal because there cannot be two realities. Sadekam, Bhashyakara says, Sadekam advitiyam iti shrutehe. And Shruti says, Sat is ekameva advitiyam, one without a second. Therefore, nothing other than Sat can be real, and therefore nothing other than Sat can be eternal. From that standpoint also, the mind is anityam or it is perishable, is mithya. In this passage clearly says how the mind is the product of food, it is matter, therefore perishable is vikara, modification, perishable. So that point is made by the way. Shruti wants to say that the mind is the product of food, and further the prana is the product of water, etc. Vashyakara takes that opportunity to clarify some other points also about the mind. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari